D'accord, on est à la page 84, and we are going to be talking about adjective agreement. This is a lot harder in French than it is in English because in French they have masculine and feminine nouns, whereas we don't really agree very much in English. So the other thing that's very different is that most adjectives are going to go after the noun. So we're going to talk about that some too. But up here, it's explaining that adjectives agree both in number and in gender. So a lot of times you just have to add an E. So this one doesn't change anything. There's already an E. So masculine is jeune, feminine is jeune, no change. But for this one, in masculine, it's grand. And in feminine, it's grande. We add an E on the end. And this time, it's pronounced almost the same, but here we do not say the D, and here we do. So again, just so you can repeat after me. Jeune, jeune, grand, grande. So over here, if it ends in EUX or if it ends in IF, we have to make a couple of extra changes. We can't just add an E onto that. So if you look over here for the X, it becomes SE. We drop the X, add an S, and then add the E on top. Or not on top, but add the E on the end. For the IF, it's the same thing. Drop the F, add a V, and then add the E. So to pronounce these, we say sérieux, sérieuse, sportif, sportive. So if you're talking about a boy, he's sérieux. If you're talking about a girl, she is sérieuse. If you're talking about a boy, he's sportif. And if you're talking about a girl, she is sportive. These are really important changes, especially when you're speaking. It does make a big difference. So for these three, again, we can't just add the E. We have to change it up a little bit more. If it ends in a G, or especially if it's ONG, then we're going to add UE along with it. The pronunciation doesn't actually change. Long, long. For the C, we add an H along with the E. And it changes pronunciation quite a bit. Blanc, blanche. And if it ends in one N, we're going to add an N and an E. Bon, bonne. Similarly, if it ends in an S, we're going to add another S and an E. Gros, grosse. And if it ends in an L, then we add another L and an E. Gentil, gentille. They sound the same, but they definitely look different. And here's another one. This is very much like the bon, right? It ends in an N. So we're going to add another N and an E. Mignon, mignonne. So just to go over all the pronunciations again. Long, longue. Blanc, blanche. Bon, bonne. Gros, grosse. Gentil, gentille. Mignon, mignonne. Okay, so, and again, almost all of the adjectives are going to go after the noun, which is totally different than English, right? In English, we would say the red ball. In French, they say le ballon rouge, or the ball red. Most adjectives will go after, but there are some exceptions. So usually you remember it by bags, B-A-G-S, beauty, age, goodness, or size. So, un bon ami, but un étudiant sérieux. Because it's talking about goodness, it's going to go before the noun, whereas here, it's going to go after, okay? So if it's describing beauty, age, goodness, or size, B-A-G-S, bags, then those are the exceptions that go in front of the noun. But most of them are going to go afterwards. And then to make it plural, most of the time we're just going to add an S. Whether it's masculine or feminine, to make it plural, most of the time we just add an S. Okay? And then one other thing that's important, de, the de becomes de when the adjective comes before the noun, okay? Est-ce qu'il y a deux jeunes professeurs dans ton école? Normally we would say, est-ce qu'il y a des professeurs dans ton école? But because this adjective goes in front of it, we're going to change it to de, okay?